Alright. I have not done a video like this. I haven't done any videos in a while, much less a video like this where I'm just like kinda talking. But we're back at it. We got a YT league here that I'm doing with EDC. Everyone draft community. So doing a quick team rundown and just kind of an intro of like, here it is, here's what's going on. It's gonna be a real quick thing. So let's just jump right into it. Let's start getting through my draft. First mon that I picked up here was a Mew. So Mew here, I was picked 15 out of 16 in the draft, snake draft. Mew was 16 points, the max anything was 19. So Mew probably isn't what most people would think of as a first round pick, but I wanted it just because I really had no plan at that point, and I was like, I've never gotten to use Mew. Mew's really flexible. I haven't played draft in years, 4 or 5 years, something like that. Certainly not Scarlet Violet draft, so let's just see what magically can happen. We can make it happen. This is a restricted Scarlet Violet draft, by the way. So everything might seem like it's a bit expensive, and that's kind of because it kind of is. There's not a whole lot to pick from. So yeah, I mean, Mew's doing everything. It doesn't have removal anymore, which kind of sucks. That's actually really rough. But you'll see with the rest of my team what I was cooking up with Mew. But I might use it as a hazard lead. It could be a wall breaker. It's really flexible, and that's kind of the whole point of Mew. It's kind of why Mew's awesome. Next up is Glimmora. Glimmora is something I've never even like given much thought to, but this is one of my Terra captains, by the way. You can Terra into any type. I just have to tell my opponent before the match starts. Just gotta do Terra preview. So Glimmora here with a nasty base 130 special attack, Terra typing, toxic debris. I can bring it, and it can be a really nice hazard lead, or what I want to try and make work with it is some of the crazy stuff that it can do, like rock polish, power herb, meteor beam, just general craziness. I've never used it, obviously. I haven't played draft since Scarlet Violet came out, so I'm excited. This is one of the things where I just saw it and I was like, I don't know how to use this thing, but this is my one really fun thing I'm going to allow myself for the season that I'm just going to learn and I'm going to make work. So that is what Glimmora is all about. I'm going to shrink Glimmora down a little bit there. Up next after Glimmora is Gliscor. Gliscor is a staple of a lot of my drafts in the past. I've used him a fair amount, I think, and I think you can never go wrong with Gliscor. Gliscor does everything you could ever want him to do. I think he used to have Roost, but no, maybe he didn't. But he certainly doesn't have it now. He's really good at setting hazards. He's got Stealth Rock spikes and T-spikes. He's got all of it. He's got momentum with U-turn. He's just got a lot of options, and he's just going to be that big, bulky wall that's just going to sit in front of the enemy team and just be miserable for them to deal with. So he was just a really nice round 3 pick. I expected him to go before then, but I was really hoping that I would be able to get to him, and I did. So thank God for that. Next up, Sylveon. Sylveon is really nice because Sylveon is going to perform 2 really big niches in my team. First off, let's mention that it's a Terra captain. The first niche, with it being a Terra captain, is that it's going to be a really, really strong wall breaker. 110 base special attack, pixelate ability. It's going to be, with Terra, it's going to be able to punch holes in a lot of things, especially after they're whittled down from hazards and all that. So it's really nice to have for that reason. But the second thing is that it's a really good cleric, which also makes it a really valuable Terra because it's something I want to keep around for a really long time. So being able to Terra out of bad matchups really helps me out a lot. So just being able to wish pass off to everything is just going to be super awesome and just very valuable for Sylveon. It's just going to be incredibly valuable. I don't think there is any getting around that. Also, I've never really used it before, so I'm excited to see how it goes. But finally, or not finally, but next up is Scizor. Scizor, I wanted Skarmory. I've used Skarmory a lot before. You're starting to see a trend with this team. But Scizor really was nice for two things. One, I really needed a Steel type, and at this point in the draft, every Steel type that was like good was gone. Skarmory just got sniped from me. Archaludon was out. I didn't really want Archaludon anyway because they went rain, but it was out. Iron Treads went round 1. Corviknight went round 1. There were a lot of really good Steel types that just went out, and there were basically none left. I remember I was looking at Magnezone, and that might be it, but I don't think Magnezone can match up to a lot of the Steel types that were in the format. I looked at it. I don't think it would be able to Magnet Trap very many outside of Corviknight, so I opted against it and went for the higher point value Scizor. The other thing that Scizor provides that's really nice for this team, though, is it is removal. Right now, my only removal is Glimmora with Mortal Spin, and Scizor is going to have Defog, which is going to be my second removal and the only removal for the rest of the team that you'll see. Unless I pivot something and trade something later, but I don't know if I'll do that because the draft board's looking pretty barren now. But anyway, Scizor is something I didn't really want because it lost a lot of its wow factor for me when it lost Roost. Not having that consistent recovery really, I think, is a big deal for me, especially when part of what I want it to do is be this kind of like utility defog mon. That's just gonna sit on the field and kind of like revenge kill with bullet punches and that kind of thing. But I think in this team, because I'm so bulky and so because I have so much pivot, another thing that I could look at is Choice Band U-Turn, which is gonna be able to really help in whittling down enemy teams, and I think it's certainly not a bad pickup, and I really needed a Steel type, so here it is. Next up, we have Goodra. Goodra is a dragon type that I really love. I've really loved it for a long time. A lot of people will not say it is that good, but I think it's got some merit. It's got a nasty 150 special defense, and then it's also got the ability to go either physical or special. 100 base physical attack, 110 base special attack. And it can also run AV, so it can just be insanely fat, which is nice for my Scizor because if you know much about draft, you know that two of the things that people consider to be really important, or at least they did back when I was playing, was your Steel Dragon Fairy Core and your Fire Water Grass Core. So Goodra really, I think, complements Scizor a lot because Scizor is a more physically bulky Steel type, base 100 defense, while Goodra is obviously a special defense monster, going to be able to eat any of those special fire hits or anything that Scizor wants to get away from, and just any other kind of resistances that it might that it does have. Goodra is going to be able to take pretty well, so that's why I think that one's valuable. I also think Sap Sipper is going to be pretty valuable on my team, and you'll see why. You can kind of see already that I don't really have many grass resistances, and I mean, I will get to shortly when I show you my grass and my fire type, but that's kind of it. Like, my flying type is neutral to grass, and my poison type is also neutral to grass, so I think Sap Sipper is actually pretty valuable here as well. And so is Gooey, because my team is so slow. If I can Gooey a carry, that will be so valuable. Like, I think Gudra has a lot of value in this team. But enough gushing about Gudra. We've got Amoonguss. Amoonguss here is my grass type. Amoonguss is what Amoonguss is. It's Spore, Clear Smog, Regenerator. It is Regenerator that's just going to add to my lovely bulk that I have going on here. So something I wasn't liking about my draft is I'm obviously very bulky. I am not stall, I don't think. I don't think you can consider this team stall, but I am certainly balanced. That's the word. I am certainly a balanced team. More teetering toward stall a little bit because of how bulky I am, but the main problem that I was seeing with my team is a lack of consistent recovery. I obviously have Sylveon as a cleric, but look at the rest of my mons and what kind of recovery do they have? Mew has Life Dew and Pain Split. Gudra also has Life Dew, but that is not a lot. For those 6 really important picks, that is not a lot of recovery, and I'm relying on Wish heavily. So I wanted a Regenerator core going, which you will see more Regenerator later to actually make it a Regenerator core, but you won't see that for a bit. So, you know, Amoonguss is what Amoonguss is. You get the deal. Let's add him down there. Next up, Skeledirge. I was able to take Skeledirge so late because everyone kind of took all the other fire types out. And there's a couple things that are nice about Skeledirge. First off, 104 base HP, 110 space special attack, Torch Song, 100 base defense, and more important than anything to me personally, for what I was looking at, is Unaware. I was debating between Skeledirge and Arcanine. Arcanine because I wanted Intimidate Pivot. I was also looking at Incin because I needed a good Dark type, a good knock-offer, because that's kind of important, I think, to have. But obviously, I decided to go Skeledirge. I had a lot of points left. There was not a lot left on the board, and I said, you know, if something sets up on me, I can either take Ditto for 6 points and like just say I'm gonna have that, or I can take Skeledirge, which is much more valuable in my opinion, because while Ditto is valuable, I don't want to feel like I have to bring Ditto anytime I'm scared of something setting up on me. I think that is it really hurts you a lot, and I mean, Skeledirge is a lot better, and Skeledirge is actually getting a lot of value for me here, I think, so really valuable pickup. Next up, we've got Galvantula. So you might be thinking Galvantula is a little out of place here, and I would tend to agree with you a little bit, because you look at my team that you see right now besides Galvantula. Highest speed is Mew at 100, next highest is Gliscor at 95, then it goes to Gamora at 86, then Gudra at 80, and then it just gets worse and worse from there. It does not get good. I am not a fast team. My speed tiers are horrendous. So that's kind of big reason number 1 I won Galvantula, was just that base 108 speed tier. It's still able to do a lot of damage with Compound Ice Thunder. The speed tiers are important because you force your opponent to use some of those EVs to make sure that they can outspeed things like Galvantula at those little above base 100 speed tiers. So it's really important just to have it on the team as a threat. And then also Sticky Webs. While Sticky Webs don't seem like they're going to be great here, I think they become more valuable when you consider the format we're in. with I was looking at a lot of teams, and a lot of teams do not have much better speed tiers than I do. There are not a lot of mods that are good that are above base 100 speed. They are few and far between in this restricted um, Scarlet Violet format. So Sticky Web is going to be really valuable for things, especially like Glamora and Gliscor. Glamora particularly. Mew, if I really wanted it to be some kind of setup sweeper or any sort of late game sweeper like that, it's going to be really valuable for that. And then, honestly, more than anything, I think I might just be running Choice Specs, Thunder, Volt Switch, Bug, Buzz, Galvantula. And it's a strong bug and electric type. It's going to be able to hit hard still. 97 special attack is not that bad in this format. But that's enough about Galvantula. I feel like I'm going on and on now. But up next, we have Sneasel. We are at the second to last pick in my draft. So, what does Sneasel do here? Some people might be asking, and I think you will be surprised to see what Sneasel can do. First off, base 115 speed, that's really important for me, because, again, I wanted to fix those speed tiers. I want to make sure that when people are running those Scarf mods, like with the Scarf, I don't know, Iron Treads or like whatever, they want to make sure that they're outspeeding Sneasel. Like, just invest those EVs, make them go above my 115 speed tier. I think that is really valuable. That can win games just by having that. Second off, I really needed a Dark type. Knockoff is just having stab knockoffs is really valuable, I think. Gliscor also has knockoff, so they're not. I think Scizor might even too, but I'm not totally certain. I will check that now as I talk. But you know, having those stab knockoffs is actually incredibly valuable because they just are doing so much damage. They provide so much utility. Scizor does in fact get knockoff, so I have several ways to knock off, but having the stab dark is really nice in the speed tier. Ice type is also really nice for things like Lando I and Lando T that are available in the format still. So just having that ability to run, I don't think I'll be running Eviolite because my team is already quite knockoff weak. There's not really a whole lot on my team that wants to take a knockoff. And that's one of the biggest problems I think with my team, but you know, a choice banded knockoff from Sneasel is still going to hurt a lot of things, so Sneasel's at least got that covered. And now for my last Pokemon, we've got Slowbro rounding out my Regenerator Core and my Firewater Grass Core. So Slowbro obviously does not help my knockoff weakness, but what it does help is it obviously helps Skeledirge and Amoonguss. Something that's a little rough is my Firewater Grass Core is much more physically bulky and especially bulky, but Slowking was not left. I could have gone Toxapex, but I think Slowbro adds a lot more. I think it just adds a lot more to the team than Toxapex. It lost Teleport, unfortunately, so it's a lot worse. But it's still going to be really valuable just throwing off Scalds. Having double Regenerator is always super valuable. Can't really beat that. And yeah, that's the team. So it obviously does certainly have issues. Like I mentioned, it has the knockoff issue. It has issues with we'll just plop them there. It'll just be kind of in the middle of nowhere, but you know, I think the lower pick kind of fixed my speed tiers a little bit. But yeah, I think my biggest issues are that I'm going to rely on Gliscor a little too much for hazard setting. If I don't, my options are Mew or Glamora, which if I do Glamora, that means I don't have the ability to really do the sweeper as much, but I think that's still okay in some matchups, and that's kind of why you take Glimmera's, because it is flexible, so it's not the end of the world. Removal is few and far between on this team. It was few and far between the whole format. I was searching for removal the entire time, and I got Scizor and I got Glimmera. That's it. But I was talking about my recovery issue before. Skeledirge and Slowbro fixed a lot of that for me, I think. Both of them having Slack All really adds a lot more bulk to this team that otherwise didn't have. The double regenerator too makes it so I'm not going to get chipped down as hard. I'm not going to reveal how I'm going to cover things like my knockoff weakness because I have ideas, but I'm not going to say them here for obvious reasons. You'll just have to wait and see for the actual matches and see what happens. But yeah, this is one of the bulkiest teams I have ever drafted, but it is still a team that I certainly look at and I feel will do wonders. I have a lot of faith in this team, and yeah, this will be an in-game league, so I'll be doing all of the matches in-game, which is really hype. Thank you again to EDC for putting me in the league and letting me play, and this is just going to be really fun and really awesome. That's it. I wanted to keep this short, and we're at 21 and a half minutes, so my bad. I just kind of rambled. So, thank you all for watching, I guess. See ya.